NRIs have a newfound interest in real estate in India. Reports suggest that share of non-residential Indians in local residential real estate has almost doubled after the pandemic. Prior to pandemic, NRIs would account for less than 10% of the sale of premium and luxury projects. That's gone up to 20% now, according to various industry experts, and has been reported in newspapers all across the country. For many developers, almost a fifth of their sale is now coming from outside the country. Now, there are many reasons for the higher interest in Indian real estate market by NRIs, but mainly attributed to the appreciation of dollar against Indian rupee, which is making it easier for them to invest back home in India. Joining us at this point in time is Hemant Sood, who's a promoter at Findoc Financial Services. Hemant, appreciate you taking time out. I want to understand what is driving this trend. Why exactly are NRIs coming back to invest not in gold, not in financial products, but in property, and that to real estate, that to premium property?
I think it has been a drive by two factors. One is it is a normal market trend when you see an appreciation in a sector that you tend to invest more. So there has been a lot of real estate appreciation all across the world, and so there's a more interest for the NRAs or even resident Indians to invest in real estate because they have been witnessing the real estate appreciation. So that is factor number one. Second, I think now after the pandemic, people have realized the value of real estate. People like to have a real estate where they can spend time where they like, and this has encouraged a lot of NRIs to invest in Indian more. And as a matter, and the dollar is at a high. It is close to 82. I mean, it has also appreciated 15-20%. So that has also encouraged a lot of NRIs to invest because they are getting for the same dollar income they are generating elsewhere in the world. They are getting a better value of real estate in India.
Okay, interesting point of view there, Krishna. One essentially being that they're not just investing in India because, of course, dollar appreciating also means that you are getting more worth of your dollar here in India in terms of rupee, but also the fact that they are looking for Indian investment in real estate because real estate prices have appreciated. So that means better returns. But as the old adage goes, that investment in home, investment in property is never the best sort of investment because it is not an appreciating asset, it's only depreciating. But contrary to that, it's not a home that from my understanding, what Hemant is saying, it's not a home that they are hoping to keep for themselves. It's a home they are hoping to buy and sell off and make money on that.
Right. I mean, it also talks about the kind of real estate market that exists for non-resident Indians, especially in America. It's all probably they're not willing to invest or not being able to invest at the prices at which the way in which the property markets in these countries abroad operate. But I have a point to make here, Shweta. Home is where the heart is. For NRA, as far as NRAs are concerned, so many of them, you've seen a wave of people who went to America to work in the last decade or two, coming back to India, especially America. So many go from India, go to America, and the United States of America, by that I mean. And you're seeing people come back as well. So, maybe this, you have Indians, moving, buying a house in London as a last resort. If something like a pandemic were to hit, they'll move to London. But you're also witnessing the NRI probably building that safe house in India or buying that safe house in India, were they, to suddenly take a decision to wrap things up wherever they are and come back to India.
Well, it's a fair point, and it's a fair point I think Hemant can also answer at this point in time. Hemant, it's not just about NRIs, is it? I mean, luxury property for that matter is like selling like hotcakes for everybody, and there is a sudden thrust towards buying luxury, buying premium property, as opposed to buying a home as to just live in. So it's not just a 2 BHK, 3 BHK that you're looking at. You're also looking at an extremely plush home that offers you a society, that offers you a whole host of facilities. What is driving this thrust towards premium property?
I think for the premium property, first I already mentioned there's a lot of appreciation, particularly in a premium property, and
Are you suggesting, Hemant, that the property is being bought only to be sold, not to be
no,
made
no,
a
no,
home?
it's not that, but still you have a satisfaction of the mind. And as I told you that in a premium and the luxury property segment, it's probably bought by the HNIs. And HNIs, have after the pandemic, have a witnessed more interest in buying a way they would call as a home. They were looking for a bigger homes. They're looking for more luxurious homes because they have observed that if they had a bigger and luxurious home, their life would have been different during the pandemic. And I also have a one real estate portfolio company, and we are seeing a lot of interest people to call as a second home. They have, for example, there are joint families in a Chennai segment, and they found they want them to have a second home for their brothers, their sons, their daughters. So because they want a bigger space, so that is also driving uh, uh, what you can call as a luxury and segment. And what I wanted to mean and as appreciation, it helps you. It's obvious you don't want to sell it, but still it's a back of the mind. You know that you bought that property at X price, and when you compare with the gold and stock market or wherever, and the market prices, why it still helps. Okay, I made money this way, and I'm enjoying the perks of that property as well. So it
Right.
helps. It doesn't matter you want to sell or not, but if it is the property is appreciating and you are living it, you say that's a double whammy, or what you can say double bonus.
Right. At this stage, the only thing I want to come in with is this: the fact that like you have Indian property developers opening up offices in Dubai and Singapore now to start selling to people NRIs straight directly in Dubai and Singapore. That's where things are. My question here is that over and above everything, is it simple things like the simplification of the tax regime or digitization of procedures when it comes to buying property here in India? This simplification of procedures and processes is also a huge factor. It's probably the main factor attracting NRIs and making them go ahead with that purchase.
So yeah, I think a lot of processes have been improved in the digitization of the market, and obviously some of the developers have opened the open marketing office elsewhere. Because obviously, when you open a marketing office, you anticipate that there is a demand in it, and you cater there to give them a better service, better product offering, probably more closer connect to the to your target audience. But I think digitization is still a long way to go. Digitization is not the only factor. Obviously, it helps, and it has reduced a little bit taboo that investing in India property is a nightmare. And that's why the more trend is in a luxury property that is mostly developed by tier one developers, and they are already good in the the in the terms of delivery, in the terms of the infrastructure, in the terms of the what you call as a digitization of your records, the transfer of the ownership. They have a dedicated customer service department. So that's why the trend is more in the luxury segment, because the most of the investors outside India, they don't they never, I will not say never, mostly they won't see a problem with the tier one developers. And so that's the one case. And secondly, what there's another factor also to it. There has been a lot of inflation all around the world. So everywhere around all around the world there's 30-40% inflation, and so real estate investment is also a little bit of inflation hedge also, unlike your bank FD and all. So these are most of the investors, the people who have parked their money in the bank, and
Okay.
they've seen the lot of inflation. So people consider real estate as a little bit of inflation hedge as well.
Okay. I want to understand from you, Mr. Sood, with the government's announcement of capping capital gains at 10 crore rupees in this budget, which kick-started from 1st of April this year, do you think that the sales figure are going to go down? Because in 2022, there was a massive boom. Everybody
Yeah.
rushed to buy a real estate. And from the pictures that came out of the famous picture outside a DLF property in Gurugram, where we are given to understand, pre-sale offers, all homes were sold. These were luxury homes upward of 5 crore, 10 crore rupees. So people have that much money, but they were only hoping to invest it to get the meaningful gains that they could up until the end of financial year. Do you think the numbers are going to rationalize now?
Everything has to rationalize at some stage of point of time. And believe me, this real estate frenzy is also because the prices are rising. I know everyone says the homes where your heart is, but you don't postpone your decision when you know the prices are appreciating. For example, I want to buy a home for my retirement. So I know the prices are appreciating. If I delay, it's going to cost me more. So I will be little bit more eager to invest now than to decide in 3 months or 6 months. And regarding DLF, particular property in Gurgaon, they had a few successful projects where the prices appreciated more than a 40% in the DLF case. So the DLF that Gurugram project was riding on their last project success, and The frenzy is also a little bit role to play.
Okay.
And regarding the 10 crore, the government which has brought, obviously this will have effect a little bit, but the people, Indian being you called a jugadu, they will try to buy in 3, 4 names, something like that, with family members, brothers, wife. But still,
Okay.
it will have impact on it because the luxury sale has a lot of role because there was a lot of money being made after pandemic. A lot of in ultra HNI people have offloaded a lot of their stocks, investment, offloaded their equity, and they had a tax outgo to pay, and that has resulted into buy a luxury uh, home and to defer the taxation.
Okay. Now, we are running short on time, so I want to come to you with the last bit, Krishna, and perhaps understand why post-pandemic there was a boom. I mean, people who were buying homes up until pandemic. What happened in pandemic that everybody wanted to buy a property, and especially a premium property? What exactly led to it?
I would say those things that you saw, the number of childbirths that happened through the pandemic. People decided to make babies. People decided to buy houses. People decided to make huge life decisions during the pandemic because it's the time to think things through. If you were to ask me, I'm no crystal ball gazer, but to just understand the way humans react, the human condition.
The tragedy.
The tragedy, yes, the tragedy is happening, and then so many people survived. At the end of the day, incredibly more number of people survived the pandemic than the number of people who died. And all those people who survived it sat at home and thought and thought and thought about their own lives, about the fragility of life, about how you can lose life to COVID in a jiffy. So knowing the fragility and the mortality angle, playing on your mind all the time. So they are like, you
Might as well
YOLO,
live fully.
YOLO. You only live once. So might as well go for all the big decisions, make babies, buy houses, move countries. You saw so many people moving out of moving countries and moving professions,
And
quitting jobs, quitting professions. All those things,
Absolutely.
big life decisions. And I think buying a home is just one of them.
Right, pandemic there led to a wake-up call, especially in the real estate market, along with other life decisions, of course. Interesting story, Mr. Sood. Thanks very much for joining with your inputs on that story.